Hey everyone, welcome to Reality TV News Update, the place where we bring you the latest updates, fun moments, and behind-the-scenes stories you won't want to miss. Before anyone arrives in Fiji, the Survivor episode of Beast Games begins with a player winning $1 million by pressing a button and eliminating their teammates. That is the instantaneous prize awarded by Survivor and the conceit of Beast Games exemplified by a single selection: shame or money, more cash or less cash. Watching Beast Games Season 2, Episode 4, The Survivor Takeover, made me wish Survivor had its budget and made me so eternally grateful for Survivor's host. Probst says, "Welcome to Survivor, Beast Games style," and I can't put into words how much I sank back into my chair, comforted by Jeff's voice after only a few minutes of MrBeast's constant yelling. I'd rather spend hours listening to Probst's food descriptions than MrBeast's single sentence. When compared to MrBeast, even Jeff Probst's expository yelling at players during challenges, which calms me down, is beautiful, meditative music. Like a faulty hotel fire alarm, Jimmy Donaldson hosts and yells at the players who look blankly at him and wonder if they should leave. Additionally, he must assert that everything he does is the largest. We partnered with one of the largest shows ever programmed on television in order to create the most insane television crossover the world has ever seen. Beast Games and Survivor fused into one single groundbreaking episode. Be calm, friend. Is it already nap time? Most of Jimmy's hosting comes via voiceover, and I pity the engineer who had to listen to that for hours or days and curse the person who coached him into barking lines like, "Who do you... I'd like to step away from here," with just their own island private that they could sell with ease. $8 million, 1 point. In this episode, Jimmy talks like a human, full of awkwardness and insecurity, or to put it another way, real humanity. He informs Probst that a lot of our inspiration came from Survivor prior to the challenge. "You are, in a nutshell, the father of challenges. All I want to do is shake your hand." Some of the opposite is true, such as Probst realizing that Beast Games is giving away a prize that is almost double what Survivor won throughout the season after just 2 challenges in a single episode. This exchange on the Tribal Council set is probably my favorite part of the crossover episode as a whole. "Do you yell, or do you normally just, 'it's normal'?" asked Jimmy Donaldson. "No, you know what I've noticed is when you're actually in control, you don't need to yell," Jeff Probst responded. Jimmy puts his head down in either mockery or genuine shame, and the gap between the staggeringly popular YouTuber and veteran television personality has never been greater. The other players laugh, but maybe he'll find out. Also, maybe Jeff Probst will learn something from this. On Mana Island, Jeff Probst, speaking in a normal voice, greets 10 Beast Games players. Sue Smye is the only Survivor participant among them. You might not have recognized her because her face is not covered in dirt. In the first 3 episodes of Beast Games Season 2, all of the other Survivor players, Jesse Lopez, Sammy Liotti, Noelle Lambert, and Sydney Gillen, were eliminated. In addition, the crossover is more of a side trip than a continuation of Beast Games Season 2. It is a one-time challenge that returns to the main game but is ultimately distinct from it. The 10 players will all return to the main competition where they are competing for a prize. The prize is their very own private island, which by chance is worth the same $1.8 million that the private island from Season 1 was worth. Mia, the winner of Season 1, chose to cash out, so it could be the same island. While she won La Vivienda Island in Panama, the title to this island states Malaga Island. The team on Survivor didn't give Beast Games anything they wouldn't give to Survivor fans. Get a Grip, also known as holding a pole, is the second challenge. The first challenge is an obstacle course with elements we've seen before. Jeff Probst remarks, "What I love about Beast Games is that you use money to ask a very simple question. What will you do for money?" That, I believe, is a preview of what MrBeast will offer in Survivor 50. Money to walk away? But the money bribe does not appear until Hold a Poll, when he offers the remaining 3 players $50,000 to drop. He tells one of them that guaranteed money is better than nothing, which is the logical choice, but I'm sure it's hard to justify in those intense moments. The usual puzzle at the end of the obstacle course is followed by the host shouting, "That's how you do it on Survivor." Additionally, there are a lot of amusing moments in it. For example, Sue's team tries to cheat by shouting the combo to their player after reading it from the other team's lock, but it doesn't work because they are reading the side of the lock, not the actual combination on the top. Jimmy hears Probst explain this to him in the same way a toddler would. "That's a boat." "Jeff's gonna get in your face and tell you how much you suck," Sue tells her team. "Just ignore him." While working through a table maze, Ian asks Probst. Probst, almost as if he is sorry, says, "Dude, we see so many." Jimmy is surprised when a group solves the puzzle first. So we now know Jimmy has never watched Survivor. Jeff Probst is laying down and observing. The winners of the obstacle course cling to poles. And this is where Beast Games does something interesting. At Tribal Council, the other players decide which one of them wins the island, and the challenge is won by the last two people clinging to poles. I don't want Survivor to choose its winners solely based on grip strength. However, there is a portion of this that could be expanded. What if a reward challenge ended with 2 or 3 people instead of 1, and those 2 people got a reward together rather than choosing friends to go eat pathetic food with them? While the first season of Beast Games didn't give me enough to care about to keep watching, this season quickly cut down on the number of players. Even if you don't watch the first 3 episodes, this one alone does a great job of creating a storyline. The Tribal Council on the shipwreck set of Survivor 49 has real drama and some arguments that connect themes from this episode and others. As JC talks about his redemption from Season 1, Ian weeps about watching Survivor with his family and imagining himself sitting here to fix the parts of himself that are broken, which turns out to be, "I put my family before everyone else's." JC loses unanimously due to his weak argument. Surely one exists for JC. Jimmy comes in to say something, hovering over Probst as he reads votes from the urn. But there aren't any. Not one. Perhaps because there was no voting booth in this crossover, the players had to sit on the jury bench and write on their parchment there to save time. Beast Games subverts what we've just seen by giving the loser, JC, something that is arguably more valuable than what he just lost, as Jimmy says, after Ian receives his prize. This seems to surprise Jeff Probst. If he makes it to the top 6, he will flip a $10 million coin, which will double the prize. Okay, so a 1 in 6 chance of winning $10 million isn't exactly the same as winning $1.8 million. Why would you give that to a loser? I don't understand it. Okay, granted, it makes sense from a dramatic standpoint to give the villain some power, but from the game's perspective, it rewards him for losing. Give it to Ian at the very least and ask him to give it to someone else. He may or may not give it to Ian. I believe this concludes the first annual, Probst says to Jimmy at the conclusion of everything. After that, he may retrace his steps and say, "No, but this has been a super cool collaboration. I loved everything about it." Jimmy Donaldson and Jeff Probst appear as executive producers in the credits. Additional EPs listed are Jesse Jensen, Kahia Pearson, and Matt Van Wagen, producers on Survivor, and David Dryden, John Kierhofer, Robin Lane, and Jimmy Quigley, co-executive producers. Among the names that scroll by, I'm sure there are many more Survivor crew members, such as in the art and camera department. Lori Delicoli, the longtime CBS publicist for Survivor, receives an extended title card at the very end. This collaboration began when her kids watched a MrBeast video and noticed Carl, one of his underlings, was wearing a Survivor buff. When he and showrunner Sean Klitzner of Beast Games Season 2 took part in a Survivor influencer event in Fiji, the partnership was born. I plead the Survivor gods that MrBeast will not spend an entire episode awkwardly hanging around and shouting, giving Jeff Probst's extended role here. Additionally, it appears that they all learned from each other. They each told Variety this separately. According to Jimmy Donaldson, "I'm a little more monotonous. With certain things, like island swag, Jeff projects his voice and has a swag. I would love to speak with more presence like he does. He has basically been doing the same vibes for 25 years and they are still cool. People prefer familiarity and I usually try to mix things up, but doing so makes production much more difficult.
It has helped me realize that not everything needs to be new. Sometimes fans just like something and do it again and again if they like it,
stated Jeff Probst. They constantly break the fourth wall because they have cameras everywhere. Players can talk to them whenever they want. It works because it is a completely different kind of storytelling. He is not concerned with the story's length. They bounce from one reaction to the next, and it appears that he is more focused on an immediate reaction. It's similar to his online environment, which constantly bombards him with new moments and events. We're looking at the long game on Survivor. We want to introduce someone to you, let you know who they are, where they come from, and what their weaknesses are. Then we add things to the game to make the uncertainty even worse and make it harder to change. Maybe, just maybe, this Survivor and Beast Games collab could improve both shows, and both hosts. In the ever-evolving world of reality entertainment, few names carry as much weight as Jeff Probst and MrBeast. One is a television icon who has hosted and produced Survivor for decades, shaping the modern reality competition landscape. The other is a YouTube phenomenon known for high-stakes challenges, viral spectacles, and jaw-dropping giveaways. Fans of both genres were both intrigued and cautiously skeptical when they heard that the two would collaborate on a new show. Would Survivor's strategic thinking withstand the viral spectacle of MrBeast-style challenges, or would its own ambition cause the fusion to fail? On paper, the premise seems straightforward. Survivor Beast Edition, a competition that would test physical endurance, mental acuity, and social manipulation with stakes that could only exist in the internet age, is the result of MrBeast Games and Survivor. Tribal challenges, social alliances, and eliminations at Tribal Council are the usual Survivor challenges that contestants will encounter. However, each episode would also feature Beast Games twists, similar to those seen on viral media, such as sudden cash giveaways, outrageous physical stunts, and the unpredictability of game-changing mechanics meant to shock viewers and players alike. A remote island in Fiji was chosen as the filming location due to its lush landscapes and challenging terrain. The set had to accommodate both classic elements like makeshift camps and rugged challenge arenas and cinematic Beast Games setups, unlike in previous seasons of Survivor. The island was filled with towering obstacle courses, themed challenge sets, and giant water slides that looked like they were from a YouTube mega-production. The first teasers drew millions of clicks before the first episode even aired because the combination was visually striking. As usual, veteran host Jeff Probst accepted the challenge. In a preliminary press release, he stated, "I've seen contestants do some crazy things over the years. However, I've never had to worry about them zip-lining across a lagoon for a $50,000 prize in the middle of the Tribal Council." In the meantime, MrBeast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, stated that the stakes would be insane in ways that traditional reality television had never attempted before. He stated, "We're talking about money, power-ups, and twists that nobody sees coming. It's like Survivor, but with 11. The pool of contestants was diverse. Half were veteran reality TV players, former Survivor and Amazing Race contestants, while the other half were social media influencers and everyday thrill-seekers who had never appeared on television. The idea was to combine old-school gameplay with modern-day spectacle by combining strategy and unpredictability. Early interviews suggested that the hybrid format overwhelmed some contestants. I've mastered alliances and strategy, but trying to dodge a 20-foot swinging pendulum while calculating my social moves, said a Survivor veteran, that is an entirely new level. The first episode began with a bang. Fans of Survivor will be familiar with the way contestants were dropped on the island and immediately divided into tribes. However, the first challenge required them to navigate a floating obstacle course while retrieving envelopes containing hidden advantages, rather than scavenging for supplies. Some envelopes offered instant cash prizes, ranging from $5,000 to $50,000, while others contained immunity idols. The social dynamics immediately changed.
Now, contestants who might have relied solely on alliances had to decide whether they wanted strategic tools or money, or if they would risk alienating their tribe by grabbing both. As was to be expected, the first tribal council was chaotic. During the meeting, MrBeast added a twist. One contestant could challenge another to a beast duel to steal their vote. As players weighed short-term gains against long-term survival, alliances were torn apart. The way Jeff Probst hosted also changed. He had to navigate a room where contestants could literally flip a coin for a $10,000 bribe in the middle of tribal council. Known for his measured questions and strategic probing, Probst later stated, "It was unlike anything I've done before. The unpredictability was on another whole level, but the stakes were high."